Hello, AfroCon participants. AfroCon 2021. I am Jade, and I am here with Cel. Oh, she's on. Cel,
Hi.
nice to have you on with us today. And next year it'll be in person, so we'll have you here in person and live, so people can get your autograph for all your wonderful things. So Cel is here to talk about Blacktober and some other things that I found out that she's a part of. They are a part of. And thank you for coming. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here and talk with you today, Jade.
So tell me a little bit about Blacktober. I know Tiana Conyers told me that I had to reach out to you, and I came knocking on your door and you responded and, and you are here. So what is Blacktober?
Yeah, so Blacktober is an October month-long exclusive event where Black and mixed Black creators, regardless of their pigment, are celebrated and uplifted with their creative skills of choice, be it like visual art, so digital art, traditional art, whatever you want to do, redraws, cosplay, writing, streaming, and more. We give out a prompt list at the beginning of each month or months in advance so people can prepare. But everyone is free to make their own list that they like. It's also to help celebrate Black History Month in Europe, because this event was also co-founded by someone who is Afro-European, who goes by the name of Celie. Username is at Pinata, so definitely check them out. We just want to support and share other creators and their content and help advocate for the community. And we're just encouraging other people to do the same thing while overall just having a fun, good time and spreading joy.
And joy and magic is the theme of AfroCon 2021 online this year. So it fits perfectly. Is there a theme for Blacktober this year?
So Blacktober necessarily doesn't have a strict theme, but rather a list of different potential ideas and themes that you can go with, that either you can pick one and just stick with that for the entire month, or you can do something a little different every day. It's totally up to you for how you choose to use the prompt list, or if you want to make your own. But if you look at our official prompt list, which we have on both our website and on our Twitter page, you'll see 31 different themes that you can go with for each individual day.
And is this just for people that are drawing?
Absolutely not. This is for people who are writing, people who are doing game development. It could be for cosplayers, streamers, whoever. It is up for interpretation for how you choose to use the prompt list.
So you mentioned game developing, and what is your very first game that you played?
The very first game that I played was Sonic the Hedgehog on the Sega Genesis at the age of 4. I won't forget it. I'll never forget it. And it was my mom's fault because she had the Sega Genesis for herself, and then I wouldn't stop bothering her. So she just put the controller in my hand and then said, "Here, you do it then." And I'm like, okay. And then it went from there.
So where does it go from there? Was that so is gaming the thing for you? Is drawing the thing for you? Is it a combination of all of that? Like what propelled you to this point?
I would say it's definitely a combination of all of it, honestly. As I said before, my mother is the pushing force to getting me into new creative things. And it did not just stop with putting that Sega Genesis controller in my hand. Around the age of like 9, 10 years old, I've been doing art. I loved drawing. Even if I didn't think it was very good, I'm like, screw it, I'll keep doing it. Or I tell my mom, I'm like, man, this sucks, mom. And then she's like, okay, now go draw another one. And I'm like, okay. So it just kind of went from there. I went to college for art. I wound up leaving and continued doing creative things. I make zines. I make games on the side. I've been a little bit on a hiatus, but I plan on bringing it back this October, which people will see when I start streaming again. I stream. I make other kinds of content. I try my best to dip my toes into it all, because why should one limit themselves to just one creative endeavor, you know?
Right, right. Okay, so okay, so now I'm stuck on games. So what are you playing? This is all about me. So what are you playing now?
Currently, what am I playing right now? Recently I just finished Ace Attorney and the Great Detective. I love anything Ace Attorney related. Ace Attorney is my blood and soul. Yeah, that game makes me cry. It's a good game. Other than Ace Attorney, I do like playing with the Fire Emblem series. I love almost anything Mario related, Kirby related, all that good stuff. Right now, I'm also playing WarioWare with my partner. That's been really fun. And on the PC, I am slowly but surely finishing Yakuza 0. It's a very good game. Very good game. Other than that, on and off, I'm playing Cookie Run. I just got into that. Everyone's yelling at me, telling me no because I'm going to fall in the pit. But you know, the cookies are very adorable, so it's fine. It's fine. We're going to say it's fine.
So you mentioned Mario, now off on a whole nother tangent. So they announced the live action cast for I haven't talked to anybody about this yet. So what is your take on, I guess there's some hatred towards Chris Pratt.
Yeah. First and foremost, let me preface this by saying that the moment that they showed Chris Pratt on the screen, I was sitting on the couch and I immediately jumped off and I threw my bonnet off and I was like, ain't no way. And then they kept going and they mentioned Keegan and then they mentioned Jack Black and then they mentioned other people. I kind of lost my mind. I'm not gonna lie. The responses to Chris Pratt, I feel, are completely fair and genuine considering some previous allegations against him. What they are, I'm not going to subject people to it, but if you want to look it up yourself, you are totally free to do that.
The Googles are always there.
Oh yeah, they're always there. They're always there. I mean, at this point, I'm still going to go watch it simply because I want to see what's going to happen. Also because the Sonic movie 2 is also coming out in spring. So, you know, if I gotta see one, I gotta go see the other. I feel like it would just be wrong of me if I didn't. But, you know, I'm in it for everything else but Chris Pratt. So it's fine. We're gonna say it's fine. I hope Luigi's on the screen a lot.
I know. I saw Keegan and Jack Black and I was like, those make sense, but I'm not sure. And I wonder if Chris Pratt will pull out. With all of the vitriol that I have seen, maybe he should just pull out.
You would think, but also, you know, this does also bring up the conversation of stopping just hiring celebrity-based voice actors and getting genuine voice actors who can really play the part. Not saying that Chris Pratt potentially can't play the part. Like, there's plenty of, like, vocalist trainings out there that you can do. However, it is a potential that there could be other people who are a lot more fit for the role.
Like the person that originated the voice?
Yeah, the fact that he's there and he's just doing like side characters had me really confused.
That part. That part.
Like, why? Let him be Mario. That was his entire like career, literally.
Right. Okay, so back to other things. So where do you find inspiration and what kind of, okay, two different questions. What is your medium and where do you find inspiration?
Well, my medium usually lies within digital art along with streaming and gaming. So I would say that those three things take the top priority. I would say, yeah, I'd say those are my three mediums. I'm trying my best to get back into traditional art at some point, but I just need the space and time to do so. And then where I get inspiration from, everywhere. Literally everywhere. I could plug in my headphones and listen to a song and just be like, man, I'm having like a whole music video in my head right now. This is baller. Or it could be like me scrolling through Instagram or Twitter and I see amazing art and I'm like, man, let me stare at this for at least like 5 minutes, just zooming in to see how you did that. Or it could be, I don't know, like just something that I see in my neighborhood or where I'm going and it makes me think of a creative idea and I want to just go off of it. So honestly, truthfully, it can come from anywhere and everywhere. Also, I'm going to throw in another creative medium that I have is cooking. Cooking is creative. I don't care what anyone says. I love to cook. I recently started making cooking TikToks, and it's fun. So I guess that also means video editing. I have too many. I think that's a very hard question to pin down now that I think about it. But yeah.
Okay. Cooking is an art.
Mm-hmm.
It is an art. Baking is a separate kind of art. I have this conversation all the time. Baking is a separate kind of art, and I love it. I love to eat it, but I don't like to make it.
That is fair. Cooking and baking are two separate things. You cannot put them together. That is something I 110% agree with. My mother is a professional chef and a professional baker. And when people say, like, well, why don't you just say one? I'm like, because they're not the same. Like, the science and math that you do for cooking does not apply to baking. It is different.
No. You can throw a pinch of this and a dash of that into something that you're cooking, but if you do that while you're baking, it might explode. Okay. So, and you're cooking on TikTok.
Yeah, I recently started doing it because I keep teasing photos of my food on Twitter, which first I didn't mean to start it like that. Just like, look at this plate that I made. It was like someday earlier this year in April, and I was like, I made some food, looks really good. And that photo alone got like 600, 800 something likes, and I was like, oh dang, they liked that one. Let me do it again. And then I got people coming into my DMs saying, so when can I come and get a plate? And I'm like, and it just went from there. And then it got to the point where people were just like, listen, if I can't come get a plate, drop the recipe. And I was like, well, just writing it is boring. I could, but that's boring.
Right.
So I started making cooking TikToks. The first one that I did was for like baked mac and cheese, but it's a barbecue chicken baked mac and cheese. That one was really good. People liked that one. And then recently I put out a fried shrimp video. And the reasons why I decided to also do videos is to show how easy it is and how accessible I can make it as well. It's food that one can be on the cheaper end. Like, you don't have to use like super special ingredients and like expensive like items. Like, no, I literally got Velveeta mac and cheese, and then I threw like my own mixes and stuff in it and made it baked mac and cheese. Like, it can be that easy. And when people saw that, they're like, oh, I need to make this now. I'm like, and you can, and it'll feed you for literally days. Right. I come from a big family, so I know that I need to make food spread out, but make it taste good. So, yeah.
Well, good. Well, that's a good segue into what is your background?
My background. Okay. Background as far as like, what are we talking? How much of background?
Who was Little Cel?
Oh gosh, Little Cel was a menace. I was a menace. That's at least what my mom tells me. I was a menace.
How does Little Cel get to where she is right now, where they are right now? I'm sorry, I keep messing up.
You're okay. That's all right. I would say that little me was someone who always wanted to be around people. I loved engaging with others, but at the same time, I highly valued my me time. I liked staying indoors as much as I liked doing outdoors. When I was outdoors, I wanted to play with everyone. I wanted to jump rope. I wanted to do this, do that. But when I was inside, that was video games, drawing, and playing with toys time. That was little me. And growing up, I was the oldest. So I am the oldest of 9 kids. There's a lot of us. And
that's a lot of mac and cheese.
Yeah. Yeah. But it started with me. And then I have 6 brothers and 2 sisters. So a lot of us. Heck yeah, we're out here, all of us doing something different, a little creatively as well. I'm the oldest at 24. The youngest one is 6. I had to remember. Wow. She's 6. Yeah, so the youngest one is 6 years old, and I'm 24. So you can imagine my shock at the age of 18 on my way to college. And mom is like, you got a sister. And I'm like, oh, that's wild. You're crazy for that one, mom.
Oh, that's funny, because that is exactly what happened to my sister.
Oh, no. Yeah.
At 18. Yeah. My mom said, okay, she's here.
She's more.
She's holding me as a baby in her graduation outfit.
Oh, man. Yeah, that sounds about right. About right. But yeah, that's little me, and then getting to where I'm at now. To some degree, like I said before, like all of my siblings like went into their own creative like adventures as well. Some going into tech, some of them also going into video games, some getting into music, some getting into like the art of hairstyling, all in our own little unique ways. But one thing I will say is that it's all different from each other. Like no one's doing the exact same thing, but it's a way that we can tie it in, come back and talk about it in a way that siblings do. I don't know, which is like usually just coming into the doorway and just being like, "What you doing?" I'm like playing a game. I'm like, "All right, cool." Mom said dinner's in like 20 minutes. And I'm like, "Okay." And then you leave the door open after they just had it closed. But you know, that's that's like the basic sibling dynamic. But yeah, little me to now was doing my best and doing what I like without really giving a care in the world as much as I try, you know?
Okay. So, how important is representation for that little Cel and Cel today?
Mm-hmm.
Does what you do today have anything to do with representation when you were younger?
I would say absolutely. I was the person that always wanted to see someone who looked like me, or I would purposely seek out characters and shows and such that looked like me. That's always been something that has been on the forefront. When I was young, my mom got me like anything, like any kind of black doll, black Barbie, whatever, she would get it. Absolutely 110%. There would be like the few exceptions where it's like, oh, well, screw it. This is cool. Like Powerpuff Girls, for example, or Kim Possible. I was like, nah, mom, you got to get me Buttercup, ma. You got to get me Buttercup. She's like, all right, it's Buttercup. We'll make that exception. I'm like, heck yeah. But that's always something I seeked out from finding not just necessarily just black characters, but dark skinned characters with a pigment like mine. You know, like I at a young age already accepted that. I'm like, you know, like, yeah, not every show is gonna have a black character, but at the very least it'll have a character that has skin that looks like mine, a character that can relate to some of the issues like mine, you know? So that was something that I always sought out. So it's like shows like the Winx Club, they had like Lila and she was dark skinned, and you know, it never really necessarily confirmed like where she came from, but a lot of people speculated that, oh, she might be like Brazilian or like South Asian or something. And I'm like, I'm okay with that. Why? She's brown. Good enough for me, you know? Like it's something. It was always something. But as I got older, I felt that I didn't always want to just keep going for it. Well, at least it's something. I'm like, no, it should be an always, you know? So I started seeking out even more just like black based media and finding creators who are like really like adamant on making black based characters and such, because it's important and having that representation is important. And I want like my younger siblings who are like as young as 6 and like growing older, like to immediately see themselves and the things that they enjoy. That's important because it makes them happy. It makes them so happy. I remember the first time, like Blacktober last year, like something that really blew up is that I believe it started with the artist Kiana Mai drew a Black Princess Peach. And I showed it to my sister and she got so excited. She was like, it's Peach. And I was like, yeah. She was like, she's like me. And I was like, okay, first of all, little girl, you don't have blonde hair, but okay. But second of all, you're right. Like she has a skin tone like you. Like she does things that you like. And I think why she said that she looks like me is because at the time she also had on a pink dress. But regardless, you have a small 5-year-old looking at a redraw of Princess Peach, who's now represented as a Black woman, and a small child just being like, yeah, like that's a 5-year-old. Like clearly that's going to make an impact and she's going to remember that for a very long time.
Right. And the fact that she was, even though she doesn't have blonde hair, she saw something that she identified with. She saw that her skin color was darker and she was wearing a pink dress. So she was able to, oh my God, no, she is me. So, and that's important for young people. It really is. we had a pop-up event in the first week of August, the AfroCon pop-up, and we had a few artists there, and there was a young man, maybe 8 or 9 years old, and he got a character, and it was a Black character, and the way that he was looking at it, he never looked up from it, and he said, I've never had a Black character that
Wow.
that wasn't from, like a book or something. I've never seen anything like this before. He never looked up from the paper. So you know that moment did something for him, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why we do what we do, so that they can have those moments where, oh my god, this character looks like me and they look amazing.
Right.
So where does Blacktober come from? So you told us what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So where does that, how is that birth? What is the origin story?
So the origin story, that's a great question. So it was basically kind of like in response to the event that's widely known called as Inktober. Now, it's a bit on the not positive side. So the creator of Inktober was caught plagiarizing an art book from a Black artist named Alfonso Dunn. And we also were going against like the constant harassment of Black cosplayers at that time and artists for doing re-imaging of their favorite characters as, Black or dark skinned people in media where we're underrepresented. So we decided to team up and make Blacktober. We really just felt like it was time to start celebrating ourselves more and creating a positive and empowering space, because 2020 last year around this time was very, very dark, I would say, for creative people. Especially after like all the issues that were going on to Black folks, not just in the US, but like all over the world. It was damaging, and we decided that we need something that's going to uplift people. We need something to give people something to smile about. We need to make a change and do it soon. So outside of just being like, oh, like, haha, like it started originally with my other co-organizer, co-founder, Celie, who goes by Pinata on social media, who I 110% like give the entire credit for the idea for, decided, haha, like, what if I made like a whole event about this? And Celia is no small artist, okay? We're talking about like, where is she at now? Like, I want to say like 50K on Twitter. That might be a lie. I'm gonna look because I want to have a more accurate number, because she'll be like, 50K, why would you say that? No, I lied. It's not 50K, it's 75K. All right, she's no small artist. All right, she is not an all small artist. She is from Denmark. Well, she's currently living in the Netherlands, but I believe from Denmark. So she is Afro-European, and just jokingly kind of put it out there saying, what if I did this? And with a platform like that, people are going to be like, what do you mean, what if? How about you do? And then it turned into now I kind of got to do it. I see or sense like the slight, like, oh man, I got to organize. And me being the community organizer that I am, already having a very nice established community, Black Card members, I reached out and I was like, hey, do you need some help? History from there. We immediately put out a prompt list. We put together a bio, and we just went for it. And it was awesome. It was really awesome. Like, we were on the media, we were on Kotaku, we were talking to these people and that people all about this idea, because it's not like it was just something just for artists, but everyone was engaging with it, be it Black artists or other artists of like different like ethnicities. Like, a bunch of people were promoting Blacktober, and they're just like, this is one of the coolest things. Like, we needed this. It was great. And then it really just blew up from there. We weren't even expecting it to be as big as it did when it happened. We were just like, yeah, this will be cool. Here's a quick turnaround. Just whipped it together real quick. Just do. I got my graphic designer from the Black Card members community, who goes by Apple Wifey. She is Afro-Italian, and I said, hey, I need some graphics for this. Do you mind? She's like, yeah, I got you, bro. I'll do it. She made all the graphics for it, and everyone was like, oh man, those graphics are sick. And then they just was like, it just went from there. And I'm like, oh man. All of us are just sitting there kind of like twiddling our thumbs, are like, okay. All right. We weren't expecting that, but okay.
It's a thing. It's a thing. And an important thing at an important time. And you did get quite a bit of backlash, because some people can't handle us having joy.
You already know. If you know, you know.
Right. Because you're taking characters and you're making them look like you, which Yeah, I want to see Princess Peach as a little black girl. I
Mhm.
want to see Buttercup as a little black girl. I want to see Wonder Woman as Serena is Wonder Woman for me right now. She is Wonder Woman. They could just
Yeah,
put her in the movie.
I wouldn't be mad at that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm
I
not gonna lie.
mean, like I know she could be Nubia, but she could just be Wonder
True.
Woman.
Very true.
Anyway, yeah. But I mean, it's wonderful that you were able to bring your resources together, bring community together, which is what we try to do as well, and highlight and amplify other artists and the work and the joy that comes from producing the work and having spaces that are safe and joyful is a dream.
Mhm.
So, what brings you joy?
Uh, Sushi. But besides that, I would say seeing togetherness and making new connections with like-minded individuals. That is definitely something that always makes me happy. Like when I know that I've successfully brought people together for
Mhm.
be it something fun or a good cause, insta joy. Insta joy.
Yeah.
Absolutely insta joy. And it doesn't matter what it is. Like if it's just like, oh, we're getting together to play some games, you want to come? Or oh, we're getting together to raise donations for this cause, would you like to help us? um Things like that always and forever will bring me joy and happiness, because it's not just for me. Like I'm also now putting smiles on other people's faces, and in my personal opinion, like that's an extremely important thing to do, because bringing happiness to others then also allows you that happiness yourself.
Well said. Well said. And I agree and I understand what you're saying because it's a lot of what I do and why I do what I do.
Hmm.
You know, you're up until 2 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, doing some things, and people yell at you because they're like, you should go to sleep. It's like, but I can't because this isn't just for me. This is for the community. So I understand what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much. Oh, no, before I let you go. So, the other organization that you organized, tell me a little bit about that.
Oh, you want to hear about BCM? Cool.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. We can talk about BCM for a quick minute.
It
So,
doesn't have to be a quick minute, but I gotta get that one in because yes, we'll be talking some more about this one.
absolutely. So BCM is short for Black Card Members, and the Black Card Members is a creative community for Black, Indigenous, Latin, Asian, and in between people of color to make connections in a fun and open space. We started last year in February 2020, February 1st to be exact, so the very first day of Black History Month in the United States. Um, and it was something that originally started as just a fun little group space. It was actually a hub that was originally used between like 30 plus Black artists that I brought together for a charity zine where we donated to Black Girls Code. And we were like, like the zine is over. We raised the money, but we don't want to stop talking to each other. So we decided to continue to keep the community space. And then a few people were like, hey, like, can we open up the community to like other people of color? Like I got like this Southeast Asian friend, or like I have like, like this Brazilian friend and this, that, and the third. And I was like, why not? So we went from there and then we just grew. I want to say that by November of last year, we were at 1,000 members in the Discord
Wow.
community, and it was just going and going from there. And then on our first year anniversary, which was this year, so February 1st of this year, um, but the weekend of like the first week, we had our very first online con where we had artist alleys, we had panels, we had game days and all that good stuff, and it was great. And it was open to like the entire public. It was open to everyone. Tickets were free. We did have like VIP passes you could buy for a very low price, where it's like you get the VIP access, you would get like some merch and stuff. It was great. We had giveaways. It was awesome. And now we're just chugging along and still thriving and doing great. And we recently just had like a big summer event, and everyone loves it. People love the community. I want to say that as of right now, I'd say about 15 to 20% of the people who are active in the community have all either gotten some form of commissions or like job opportunity or something along those lines, because BCM is not just a chill spot, but it's also a professional space as well for people who really want to increase their skills and work and make connections and do resume building and portfolio building and all that. It is more than just meeting other people. It's a place for you to grow as an individual. So absolutely 110%. Like, we have our job board. People can post in their own jobs. They can post in jobs they've seen online. We have like different like automation bots where it'll tell us if there is like a job that is now live, it's looking for applications. It's truthfully like a great place for people of color, of again, all creative different outlets, to come meet folks and build themselves up.
That sounds amazing. And sounds like some synergy going on here. So we're going to have to talk after we stop recording this. And I will make sure that I get all of the links to Blacktober, links to your work, links to your other organizations, and other things that you want to amplify for us during AfroCon. And I'll make sure that we have that at the end of this interview and also in the vendor space. So thank you so much for coming and talking with us today. I appreciate you taking time. You didn't know who I was. You didn't know. Like, what is this thing? But you did, and I thank you. I really do. I appreciate you and your time.
Yeah, and I really appreciate coming and talking. It's an honor, a privilege even to have this kind of opportunity. So thank you.
All right. All right. Now everybody just take a break, go get some water, go to the bathroom, get ready for the next set of sessions.